Emily and Michelle, Resistance Chicks, coming at you March 13th, 2017. We are doing kind of a Turkey-ish montage, and can you start out just explaining them very briefly why it's important, why that's tying in this week to the Netherlands and stuff?
Okay, so Turkey got in a spat with the Netherlands because Turkey is trying to get into the EU, and Turkey is right there kind of stopping the mass migration of refugees into Europe. So Europe, the European Union, pays Turkey billions of dollars to keep these refugees from going into Europe.
Because they're kind of like we do need to bring up a map. They're just this little inlet, outlet thing, connection. Turkey, so the Middle East is connected to Europe via Turkey. Here it is. Okay, here we go. Via Istanbul and all that. So this is Turkey, all of that. And then it kind of gets connected to the rest of Europe via Bulgaria and Greece and things like that. So they're like the last stop gap.
Right now, there's a lot of they're kind of the last stop gap with the refugees, but also there's kind of this tension going on right at this moment because Turkey wants to get a referendum through to give their current president, like complete dictatorship rule, and they're going around Europe hosting these rallies, and people in Europe don't want them to host these rallies because, you know, a lot of Muslim men get together and bad things happen. So here's where a lot of Muslim men got together and bad things happen. Turkey's Great Fire of Smyrna provides a sobering reminder of Christian persecution in 1922.
It really does sound very Lord of the Rings like. I just have to say. The Great Fire of Smyrna. A lie is born.
September 1922. 4 long years had passed since World War I ended. The genocidal Young Turks had fled and found refuge in Berlin, of all places. But the Turkish holy war against Christians was anything but over. The father of modern-day Turkey, Mustafa Kemal, was determined to finish what had been started. He wanted to exterminate the Christians. His plan was to target the Turkish port city of Smyrna. Hundreds of thousands of Christians lived in Smyrna. The Greek military was based there to provide protection. But when Kemal's army advanced, the Greek military abruptly vacated the area. With nothing standing in their way, Turkish soldiers marched undeterred, straight into the Armenian and Greek sections of the city. It was a gruesome scene. Men, women, children, none were spared. The Turks helped themselves with widespread looting, and when they had taken everything they wanted, they torched the entire Christian quarter, leaving it engulfed in a massive inferno. The fire would later be known as the Great Fire of Smyrna. But not all of Smyrna was burned. The Muslim quarter was left completely untouched.
Surprise.
Those that survived the initial onslaught quickly realized their options were few. They fled to the port as both the flames and the Turkish army pushed the remaining thousands toward the water, leaving families faced with the cruelest of scenarios. They were cornered. They could risk drowning in the ocean, burn to death in the fire, or be executed by the soldiers. Some recognized the hopelessness of it all and jumped down into the ocean and drowned. An unthinkable scene. Incredibly, Ernest Hemingway just happened to be on a ship just off the coast of Smyrna, watching it all unfold. He witnessed Christians being persecuted in biblical proportions. He wrote, "The strange thing was how they all screamed every night at midnight. I do not know why they screamed at that time. We were in the harbor, and they were on the pier, and at midnight they started screaming. We used to turn on the searchlight. We turned it on them to quiet them. That always did the trick. We'd run the searchlight up or down 2 or 3 times, and they stopped it." Mustafa Kemal, even though they had been defeated in World War I, made sure the job the Young Turks had started was completed. Christians had now been purged almost entirely from Turkey. Despite multiple eyewitness accounts, Kemal denied the entire thing. he actually blamed it on the Christians. And a century of Turkish denial and lies had begun.
Okay, so this is not the end. I mean, they're still being persecuted
And purged.
and because the Christians have left, you've got this Muslim country, and eventually you can see where it's going to go. Just look at Iran, just look at Saudi Arabia, you know, and there's fights in the Arab world against the Sunnis and the Shiites, and you know, even Erdogan is like, don't fight amongst each other, you know, we have a common enemy, right, which is every infidel out there, right?
Exactly.
So I just wanted to kind of bring this to you guys, and this is the scene.
Pausing. There you go.
Whoa.
Here, jump a little bit.
This is a scene today, I believe, in the Netherlands, where they're stopping traffic.
And these are Turks. They've got their Turkish flags.
People in the Netherlands aren't really happy about it. Here come the police, I guess, maybe, possibly. So there seems to be a common theme around all kinds of protesters today. There's a protest spirit
In the world. The entire world.
go in front
Right now.
of traffic, and it's against liberty. It's against free speech. It's against morals.
And if you guys don't understand why the Turks are in the Netherlands protesting, go back and watch our other videos. Why they're upset there. But like Leah just said, it's not just even a protesting spirit. It's an agenda. They are being told from the top down, and it spreads that this is how we're going to communicate our agenda via violence. Okay, there's a difference between protesting and violent protests, and this is what we're seeing is violent protests. And it's a real shame that this is happening in the Netherlands. And I, in all honesty, I really believe that this referendum that's being put forth in Turkey to give Erdogan all this power, it's coming kind of to light right now, just before the election. And what is happening is it's causing a bunch of chaos in the Netherlands right now, just before the election. And I do not see that as a coincidence.
Well, it actually could get Reuters a boost in the polls.
I'm hoping that it does, but I don't think that that's their intent.
Well, their intent actually is to go all over. Their intent was to go all over Europe.
Right.
So it wasn't actually to do...
I just mean this happening right now, the protests.
Well, I'm sure they're totally against Geert Wilders and all of his agenda.
Yeah, they're losing their minds over
They're
it.
angry, not necessarily... I see where you're going with this. They're not angry and protesting...
The referendum.
The referendum that wasn't allowed to have a rally for. Their whole thing is against... Netherlands being the Netherlands and Germany being Germany.
Right.
You're going to be a Muslim state whether you like it or not, and that's their agenda.
Exactly.
All right.
All right, you guys, this is Leah Michelle signing off for Resistance Chicks, where it is not a conspiracy theory if it's the truth. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring the bell for notifications so you get an email every time we put out a new video, and find us on Facebook and Twitter. We love you guys. We'll see you back here in a bit.
I was cold all alone, no place for home every day, so afraid, but you called my name.